What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of So What You Hear. I'm Jay,
I'm Craig.
and we are here, 2 weeks after the draft?
Yeah.
Got absolutely, I don't even think voluntary voluntary mini camp is really happening. I think those have already wrapped up.
Because that's the first, it was the rookie little inlets.
And rebuild teams tend to have.
But I know most of my team was up.
I saw everybody out there from mine except for Paulson the Diva, and I think he ended up showing up. So.
Okay, yeah, everybody pulled up. So it
was. But that makes it very dry for like the next 2 months until we get back to OTAs.
Yeah.
I guess a little bit of news. We do have some news. I heard today Aaron Rodgers should be getting into the Steelers facility tomorrow, and they're pretty sure by the end of the weekend they'll go ahead and have everything wrapped up, and he'll be playing the quarterback under Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh.
So Aaron Rodgers took his time, did a little relaxation trip, whatever he had to do.
Yeah.
And was like, all right, I'm ready.
I heard he wanted time with his wife.
Which is understandable.
So, new wife, new duets.
Yeah.
That's really
okay.
Most of the news that's rocking. So we decided for the duration until we start having actual football movement, we'll go ahead and start doing our analysis of each individual division and kind of how it looks like things can shake out from here out. And I think we're going to start with the best division in football, the NFC East.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, only division where everybody has a Super Bowl. Only because we're the only division that everybody has one. We're clearly the only division where everybody has multiple.
I know.
Because Philly now has 2, Washington has 3, we got 4, Dallas has 5.
Wow. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
All the way up. So again, going back, best division. It's been a little rough up and down. Even with Philly, it's funny with Philly having Super Bowls. Because for every really successful Super Bowl year, they've had a year where everybody's just like, what the hell is wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
It's like, great Super Bowl run. Oh, man, this is sad.
Yeah.
Which does worry me for this year, because last year was kind of pitiful.
May worry me, but honestly, it seems like, I don't know if Sirianni has the best control of his team anymore. They have the players.
It doesn't seem like he might ever have. It looks like the coordinators, if the coordinators aren't keeping their end of the ball good, he's lucking into this. Because when he doesn't have great coordinators, every coordinator he's been good with has gone off to be at least a decent head coach. And then in between, he's got trash. So,
okay.
Because that's the thing, you add Mekhi Lemon, they're pretty sure that they're getting rid of A.J. Brown. They add Romeo Dobbs. You've added depth to make sure you should still be a leader receiver. But at any point, have you felt like it was the talent on the team?
No.
On why they weren't succeeding?
It seemed like poor coaching. It really did.
And mediocre quarterback play.
Yeah.
And that's not changing either. So,
if you go by that, yes, Devontae Smith, it's either one receiver, very much so, and the other one's getting nothing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not even going to say, but there's a lot of times that you'll look and be like, well, he had 8 targets that game. Look at where he throws the ball.
Yeah.
That's just what it is, but not what Eagles signed.
So, I think that's where we are with Philly.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has ever questioned whether they have the talent to be good. It's the execution. And so you can add your Mekhi Lemons, you can do all that you've done in this offseason. Until we see it work, we're kind of stuck in the limbo of it didn't look good last year.
And even that, what did they win last year? 12?
Yeah. So, now with that being said, there's a lot of leak coming from inside the building that Jalen Hurts is inadequate, and that's holding them back. And again, you're not changing there. So, we'll have to see. Like I said, clearly Jalen Hurts played well enough with the right team and the right play callers to win a Super Bowl.
Yep, so he can do it.
So, he can do it. The question is he going to have the right play callers? Is the team going to execute? Are they on one page? Is this going to come together to be a championship Eagles team or not? And I think that's pretty much where you're going to stay stuck until almost the playoffs with Philly and what they've done. So now A little more intriguing recently team, Washington. I'm gonna go ahead and get because I want to. I'm gonna go with the team. Like I said, Philly seems like a team that we won't know until they play.
Yeah.
I think we've seen a decline in Washington, and I don't feel like they really did nearly enough, if anything, to kind of fix it. You had a very unreliable receiving core. Who they had? Nobody that's really gonna. There's nobody they've added that made you go, "Oh, wow, he could take over a game."
Sure.
McLaurin is good. He puts up numbers, but like I said, sometimes good stats don't necessarily help because there's people that are going to do their job very well, but they don't necessarily help the team win. Terry McLaurin has been really good even when they're terrible. So I don't see where him performing well really helps them be a winning team. Jaden Daniels, even before the injury, was starting to have some. There was some up and downs, and then you have injury, like serious injury, like he had. Is he going to be in his own head? He's really young, and I don't feel like they added anything to fill the holes that were glaring from that team, other than Sonny Styles, the linebacker.
Yeah, Sonny Styles, the linebacker, I really liked. You're definitely right about. I don't see how they think they have all the pieces. I mean, even they lost. Debo was only there for 1 year. They didn't resign. I should know their running backs, but his name. It's the rookie who was the rookie last year.
Krosky Merritt.
Krosky Merritt was
Bill Krosky Merritt.
And then, he was decent. But, like you said, the quarterback play wasn't great. And the thing about it was crazy last year. Mariota came in and had them competing.
Yeah.
They were competing in games. And definitely their defense was kind of... Actually, no. Von Miller had 9 sacks last year. And how old he is, but him having 9 sacks is purely... That's nuts.
But the problem is that's still your premier pass rusher.
I don't know if he was the premier. I mean...
Who else was the pass rusher from them?
They had... I don't know. I don't think it was him.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in on third downs. He was only in on third downs and stuff. He wasn't really in like that.
Yeah.
Sinistro was good. I like him for them. They only have like very few pieces here and there. I swear to God, they have a line and I can't remember. I feel bad about it, but oh well. But yeah, no. The one thing about the Commanders, well, also they don't have. I don't even know who's their new offensive coordinator because Kingsbury's gone.
I can't remember who they.
We know. We talked about it. We know.
We did talk about it when he did it, but
I definitely not gonna lie.
No, because I'm like, there's so many coaching changes. Because Dallas took. No, that was Dallas that took the D coordinator from Philly. Not D coordinator, but their quarterback, Christian Parker.
I don't know.
We will look that up. Continue, Raleigh.
Yeah, but so or the offensive strength, like you said, McLaurin's good.
Oh, David Blau.
Okay. So, yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see what the Commanders do. They have like that one. They went to the NFC Championship 2 years ago. That was no one expected.
Yeah.
But you would think the team has not been built upon from that. They needed depth. I think they did get some depth at line because they needed a line for Jaden Daniels. He can't keep getting running around.
Yeah.
And like you guys didn't have Terry McLaurin for like 6 games last season. Then he got hurt and you lost him for another 3. Debo's gone, and Luke McCaffrey is what now? This is his 2nd or 3rd season, so
yeah,
we're gonna see what happens there.
And I still haven't seen anything that makes me feel like, oh man, that's a weapon. He's a filling weapon.
Yeah, I don't know what to. Don't get me wrong.
I feel like you've got.
And then you lost Zach Ertz in the playoff push. You got his knee, ACL destroyed. So
I feel like what's happening in Washington looks very similar to what happened at Houston. Where you've got C.J. Stroud. Like, we blame C.J. Stroud because some bad play. But, I mean, he was playing with, practice squad guys. Like, they've been just throwing whoever out there at receiver. And you're like, hey, go in. And I feel like...
Well, that injury to Tank Dell last season, 2 seasons ago, was devastating.
Yeah.
It really was bad. I mean...
But I just feel like Washington's doing pretty much the same thing. And we see how that's leading with C.J. Stroud. He's been digressing because you just haven't been helping him. There's film on him now. And you're not giving him weapons to give him an outside of what people know of him. And I feel like they're doing the same thing to Jaden Daniels. And I think it's really going to hurt that.
But I also think they put a young team around him. Try to put a young team around him somewhat because he is young and he's 3rd season.
Yeah.
So you definitely you realize that while you're rebuilding that you're building. I think that's what their mindset is. even though, and maybe we look at it more so, they know they're rebuilding, even though they got to the championship, they're like, wow, we have a team that, but that was just that you caught lightning in a bottle, and that was what that was. So this is, this looks like they're still rebuilding, especially with the ownership, brand new, to get the new stadium in like 2 years.
Yeah.
The team is still rebuilding, and hopefully, maybe they're even. I would hope for a 500. I would hope y'all get a 500, but realistically, I'm thinking like 7-10.
Yeah, I was thinking closer to 500. I think they'll win games. I just don't think they're good enough to make pushes.
I think 7 and 10.
Okay, well, I can't completely argue that. So, like,
you'll win games, but you'll lose more than you win because you'll be close because you're missing something.
Yeah.
So you'll have a lot of like you'll lose by 3 or 7 or like 9.
Yeah.
And it's like it was. So that's what I'm talking about. But
even if you look in division, they kind of like ran all over us. They were kind of running all over Dallas. Both teams up the run defense. Are you going to be able to just run all over them? Because your passing game is really, really light. And then Philly's got a better run defense. And you got a lot of teams that had problems stopping the run that are doing a lot more to stop that. If they don't have Bill Krosky-Merritt making them big, because most of their wins last year, most of their points of production came from him breaking off these massive runs and giving them offense. Are you going to be able to get that again? And if you can't get those explosive plays, are you going to be able to function as offense? And so, I'm going to go ahead and we'll take us down to Texas. We'll go ahead and do us last. And get to Dallas and talk about what they really did, because I got to say, I think they did a lot.
Yeah, they made use of their picks. Getting Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence in the first round was definitely a need, because we realized how much they needed that edge pass rush.
Mm-hmm. And then adding another pass rush for Michigan, who was, Michigan pass rush is Barnum is a very good pass rusher. Basically just
they got Rashawn Gary all season.
Yeah.
And
like you're not gonna run on that team. That team's run defense is gonna be ridiculous.
No, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with the pass rush because of the other pieces, the pieces they have.
And I think adding Caleb Downs to that secondary and having somebody in the secondary that can help organize, I really think that defense could be massively better. And I don't think with how productive their offense was, and especially you get George Pickens signing his tender, which clearly means that him and his agent have a feeling that they needed to bolster the image a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There is something play or personality-wise that they needed to do, because you don't just take a mid-take when you had as good of a season. But clearly maybe the conversation on the outside from other teams wasn't given a bunch. You signed the thing, now he has to go play well this season.
And if he redoes it, there's going to...
And you still have CD and Turpin and a lot of offensive weapons, even if he's mediocre. And I think that's going to be a big help. But I do feel like he's going to personally have that chip to really excel for his own game.
It's never been if George Pickens was good or not. It was always how his edges were on the sideline.
He did have a tendency to quit on field sometimes. He'd half-ass routes.
And he didn't do that much last year.
He didn't. I didn't see that.
Didn't see that, and he still performed. So it looks like it's going the right way for him in Dallas. Dallas always got a lineman. They got a couple linemen in the but they know what they're doing when it comes to line. That's one thing.
Yeah, their line is always phenomenal.
Who else did they grab?
I feel like they got another free agent, and I can't think of who it is.
Yeah, no.
But even without that, like with George Pickens being in a position where it looks like he's going to try to outdo last year, that offense was definitively good enough that if they could get mediocre defense play, they were going to be a very competitive team. And I think they've added enough stuff. Like their defense as the year went on started getting better. When they just had Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams in the middle, suddenly their defense was massively better.
But it just took a little too late for that.
It did. It started to form, and that secondary really needed help.
Yeah.
And I really think their lack of safety play was more than lack of corners.
Caleb Downs is very fundamentally sound, so he won't be taking a lot of chances at first.
And he's really high football IQ.
Mm-hmm.
So he should be able to help, read things. And if that defense with what they put together can be a C+, which I very much think that it can be. I think it could be even. I think it possibly could be better than that. I think this team is going to be a very competitive team.
It's gonna be interesting to see Dallas and how they do. I mean,
now again, I do think it comes down to a lot of like Philly and like am I saying that Dallas is going to run away the division? If Super Bowl Philly shows up, maybe not.
Yeah. But you also don't know what your teams are going to do. Your division beats up on each other really hard, so it can go either way.
That is true. Sometimes when we are good, it actually makes it worse because
y'all get in shootouts and it's long, hard fought games, and it's like, well, they put up 35 points. Well, they lost. The other team put up 40.
Like, yeah.
So it's like,
we'll see on that.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely going to be interesting, but
definitely think Dallas is going to be a very competitive team.
Dallas will be like how they always in this division, very competitive up to the end. Last couple of weeks, either they're right in the thick of it or winning it, because usually it's always teeter-totter. Or if their season's already over, we know before it even gets close to playoffs. That's just how it goes with them.
Yeah,
either they're really bad and they're already out of the playoff picture pretty soon.
Yeah,
and then or
they're running away with it. They seem to do one or the other.
Yep.
So now that brings us to the Giants, which I think out of the division is the most improved.
Okay.
Now I think with that being said, we had one of the farthest to go, so that makes it a little easier. It's like, when you start to lose weight, it's always easiest at the beginning because you have the most to lose.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we were. We were the worst team in the division by far, and they needed to do a lot, and they have.
Yeah.
Brand new coaching staff. If you look at every issue we've had over the last couple of years, we got somebody in this coaching staff that should be able to help with that. They said our practices were too soft. The team was undisciplined. Harbaugh was pissed that Paulson Adebo didn't show up to voluntary camp. He wants everybody there running. Zay Flowers was talking about it, and he ended up coming back after the interview and saying, like, I'm not complaining. I'm not saying Harbaugh's a bad coach. We were never unprepared. But they were running in week 17. And I think this team needs that. I think it needs that discipline. With the pass rush that we have, I'm not even adding what I'm not even getting to like what we've added. Mm-hmm. Just what we had. Part of the reason that, Brian Burns had 20 sacks and we're still losing all these games. How does that happen? Well, it happens because you have a defensive scheme where the linebackers, the safeties, and the corners play 10 yards all back from where they probably should be. You're going to be able to move the ball on that. And then every once in a while, Brian Burns can make a good play. Denard Wilson's press coverage and having people jam people at the line and giving people competition immediately, that is going to open the pass rush up. That should be disgusting. Now, you go add Colton Hood, who looks like he's probably going to come in at CB2, CB3, and be pushing for CB1 position, who is a very sticky press corner.
Yeah.
You add Arvell Reese, who was being looked at as the best edge rusher in the game, even though he's a middle linebacker, so that says something.
Yeah.
We are now in a position where we have Abdul Carter and Arvell Reese, who we can have literally just flip-flop with each other for middle linebacker and off-ball. Adding Tremaine Edmonds, now we have two guys that not only are really good at coming up and stopping the run, because like with Dexter Lawrence being gone, everybody's like, oh man, what are they going to do? Well, even with him there, our run defense wasn't good. And when you watch the tape, a lot of it isn't the D-line failing. It's that when that hole opens up that your linebackers are supposed to fill, they're either out of position or they just don't do it fast enough. Tremaine Edmonds and Arvell Reese are going to fill that hole. They're fast, they're long, they have good instincts. And then on top of being able to come in and help with that defense and that linebacking core, they're long and fast and are really good in coverage. So even if they're not necessarily getting pass blocks or they're getting interceptions, just having a really long body to make the quarterback have to arc the ball a little more, to make him have to rethink his angle, that does a lot for a defense. And they should be in better position than what Bowen was putting them in. On top of that, we go out and sign Shelby Harris. We signed DJ Reader. We drafted a lineman, or a D tackle, and a bunch of guys that some of them can get pass rush, which is cool to have from DTs, but they're big body guys that can fill holes and keep people from running up the middle, which allows our linebackers to create havoc. And I feel like while we lost Dex's skill and his individual skill, I feel like we have so much more depth at the DT position. I think we'll end up benefiting better. Offensively, I think that it looks like everybody coming off an injury looks like they're going to be fine. Like, they seem perfectly fine. Everything seems 100%. Scat's already running drills and practice and everything. Malik Neighbors looks like he's on pace and everything like that. But even with that, you come in and bring Patrick Ricard, who is 300-pound fullback that can catch, he can run the ball, but more than that, he's going to help make sure move people out the way for whether it's Scat or Tracy or Singletary. That is a big help in the running game. You bring in Isaiah Likely, who is a good blocking tight end and can play X, Y, can play wide. I mean, he's a wide receiver, you know. It's way multi-positional use. You bring in Calvin Austin, who can blow the top off of anybody's defense and had a bunch of touchdowns on a Pittsburgh team that did not move the ball well and really kind of had a boring offense. So you should kind of assume a little more production off of that. Yeah. You give us Darnell Mooney, who had a down year last year. But Penix and Kirk Cousins were both hurt and played terrible last year. So that explains that. He had a good year with Kurt the year before, and then he had 1,000 yards with Justin Fields in Chicago. That offense was terrible. But it's Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is the offensive coordinator, so if Matt Nagy can get Darnell Mooney 1,000 yards, and now, unlike when he was in Chicago, he had to be the guy. Darnell Mooney was the number one. He's the number two. Malik's the number one. Calvin Austin's the number two. We got Darius Slayton there. We still got Isaiah Hodges out there. Isaiah Likely is basically a receiver. Theo Johnson needs to clean up some drops, but he's a damn good receiving. Both of our running backs receive really well. So we have a very multifaceted offense. And then you bring in Malachi Fields, who is, one drop last year? And pretty much all of his passes are contested. And people watch his Notre Dame tape, and they're like, okay, yeah, but is he going to be able to get contested catches against the NFL? Well, go back to Virginia, he actually runs routes a lot better. Okay. Notre Dame basically just had him running dicks and goes, and that was basically it. And he did what he did, but he still doesn't drop the ball. Yeah. And I think you put all that together with Jackson Dart, and I think Jackson Dart had a good enough year to feel like I can do it, but the team had a bad enough year that there's a chip of like, they still don't think I'm that good. I think I have to prove something. Yeah. And I think we're gonna be nasty. Do I think we're like, worst to first? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe in the division, because like I said, Dallas's defense might not gel immediately. Philly keeps having dysfunction, and Washington is half put together. Boom, we run away to the division. But once you hit playoffs and you start hitting the Rams and the Seahawks and teams like that, I don't know if we're going to be able to just one
next year. You could be. That might not matter depending on how everything goes for you.
Well, that's very true.
Because by the time playoffs come around, if you win the division, you're like solid.
Yeah.
You're formidable.
That's true. So, I think Tiff has this idea when I'm like, I think we're going to be pretty damn good, that she thinks we're like, I think we're going to be like one of the best elite teams. I'm like, no, I think we're going to be a team that like, oh man, I don't want to have to play them for a playoff spot.
Yeah, I got you.
And we haven't even been close to that in a decade.
So yeah, it'll be nice to see. Y'all got a lot of good pieces. And when you look at it on paper, you guys are stacked in so many different areas. You got depth where you needed depth with Harbaugh and I don't know his name.
Joe Shane.
Joe Shane. Y'all did good in the draft. I was happy with what you got. Also what you were able to retain in the offseason. And
this is actually like a third draft in a row that Shane's done that's actually been pretty good.
So it's nice. It's like good to see, and you guys made strides every season. It's just something either happened, injuries, or bad coaching.
Yeah,
and I'm talking more on defense because they were in a lot of games last year, but the
defense just
crumbled every time. So, yeah, no.
And, who knows what would have happened if Daniel, like the year after the playoff win, Daniel Jones blew his Achilles in, like, the first play. Or, like, the first drive. So, like, that first game might have, even if we lost that game, who knows?
Yeah. He blew his Achilles last year.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows what had happened the year after if we would have been able to have a little bit more continuity. But
True. Oh, did you also see that? Speaking of which, they did not re-sign Anthony. They didn't sign Anthony Richardson's.
oh god, yeah, I knew they weren't doing that. Nobody wants Anthony Richardson.
Nope.
That's what happens. That's why people were like Ty Simpson. Like now, my thing with Ty Simpson is I feel like the 1 year of quarterbacking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Anthony Richardson made a lot of his plays with his legs, so you never know if he can make it with his arm. Ty Simpson was more of a throwing quarterback, so it's 1 year of traditional quarterback play.
Yeah.
But it's still only 1 year.
And we realized starting in college and playing a multitude of years and having
It really does help.
It really does help and matter.
I could see Carson Beck getting NFL ready before Ty Simpson.
You also see Fernando doing that too. A lot of people have been getting
I've been watching some of the clips from training camp. Oh man, I mean, they're not hitting, they're not running plays yet, but it's crisp ball where the receiver wants it. Everybody seems very happy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think Mendoza's gonna be really good.
So interesting to see what this draft class does because this draft class was defense heavy, was not a quarterback draft. And it was also deep depth in other positions you need to have a good team.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of wide receivers you could go out and get.
Well, I mean, you look at somebody like Dak, a 4th round pick, and even like Russ, who was like 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah.
Sometimes at low expectations, and if you have an entire draft that's considered a low prospect draft where it's low talent, they're not expecting much. If any of these kids come out and play functional, you're like, oh well, this is a win.
Yep.
And the lack of pressure really can help.
This is also the end of that COVID era stuff. It's the last year.
Yeah, you'll be getting regular.
You're getting a lot of these 25, 26-year-olds coming in because they've been in college forever.
Yeah.
So, and
you're starting to get back to the 21, 22-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Wraps us up for that.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the NFC East. I think it's going to be a good season. Like I said, even with Washington, I'm not saying I don't think that they're going to be good. I don't think they're going to be a trash can. I just don't know if we were a couple of plays from the Super Bowl a couple of years ago team is going to be
back.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a rebuilding young team that could be entertaining but might have some struggles. And, Philly needs to figure out the Jerry Springer situation they put themselves in.
Yeah, I think every team, I don't say this, I'll give it overall, besides like the Commanders, I'll say this division had an overall good draft and good pickup for their offseason so far. Yeah. So, and their team, and besides what we think about the Commanders, most teams did what I thought they should have done in terms of bolstering. So for the NFC East overall, I'll give it a really good grade. I'm looking forward to seeing how they compete this year. And yeah, I have no more complaints. I have no complaints about them. I would give this division really overall like a B plus, A minus. Even with the Commanders bringing you down a little bit, I'd still give it a B plus, A minus overall grade.
Yeah, I'd like that. That sounds good to me. I'll live with that. But we'll have to see how it goes. So y'all know what to do. If you feel any different on this division, or maybe if any of y'all are Washington fans and y'all know some stuff we haven't picked up on, go ahead and let us know in the comments. Go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe, put on your bell notifications, hit us on Instagram, and hit us on X. And we'll see y'all next time, right? Peace.